It's time for spelling analysis. Are you ready? The first word is cookie. Would you like to have a cookie for a snack? Cookie. Go ahead and say cookie. How many syllables? Two. We will say to spell cook, E. What will we say to spell cook, E? Let's sound it out. The first syllable is cook. K. Use a k. S. Use a u, o. K. Use a tall k. The second syllable is E. Use the E of field. Yep, that's maybe a little surprising, but use the E of field. Go ahead and write cook, E. Sound it out as you write it. Good, and help me to write it. Cook is the first syllable, k, k. The second syllable is E, E. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the What sound of oo, o do you hear in cookie? That's right, the second. And we'll underline the E. Do you see the first syllable is the word cook? And we cook cookies. Let's read it. K-E, cookie. The next word is baked. I baked some cookies. Bake. Go ahead and say bake. Or baked. Yesterday, I baked some cookies. Let's sound it out together. B-A-K. Use a tall k. T. This is an ed-t. Baked. Go ahead and write baked. Good. And help me to write it. B-A-K-T. And how will we mark it? Put a line over the A and we'll underline the T. And what sound of ed-t do you hear in this? You're right, you hear the third, baked. Good. And what's the base word of this? We have bake. And then I added ed-t to get baked. And we dropped the E when we were adding a vowel suffix, a suffix that started with a vowel. Let's read it. B-A-K-T, baked. The next word is power. The power is out. Go ahead and say power. How many syllables in power? Two. We will say to spell pow-er. What will we say to spell? Pow-er. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is pow. P-ow. Use an ow-o. The second syllable is Use the of her. Go ahead and write pow-er. Sounding it out as you write it. Good. And now help me to write it. The first syllable is pow. P-ow. The second syllable is And how will we mark it? We'll underline the ow and we'll underline the Let's read it. Power. Power. The next word is ladder. Do you need a ladder to climb up there? Ladder. Go ahead and say ladder. How many syllables? Two. We will say to spell lad-der. What will we say to spell? Lad-der. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is lad. L-a-d. The second syllable is der. D-er. Use the of her. Go ahead and write lad-der. Again, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is lad. L-a-d. The second syllable is der. D-er. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the Let's read it. L-a-d-d-er. Ladder. The next word is sadly. Sadly, the dog is sick. Sadly. Go ahead and say sadly. How many syllables in sadly? Two. We will say to spell sadly. You've got it. Let's say it. Sadly. Let's sound it out. S-a-d. The second syllable is li. Ul-e. Use a ya, it, I, e. Go ahead and write sadly. And help me to write it. The first syllable is sad. S-a-d. The second syllable is li. Ul-e. And how will we mark it? What sound of ya, I, e do here? That's right, the fourth, because it's saying it's E sound at the end of a multi-syllable word. Let's read it. S-a-d-l-e, sadly. By the way, did you notice that the root of this word is sad? And we added the suffix "ly" to make sadly. The next word is wonder. I wonder who will win the game. Wonder. Go ahead and say wonder. Do you hear an sound? I do too. And you hear it next to a W and an N? Wonder. What do you think we will say to spell? You're right. We will say to spell wander. Let's say that together. Wander. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is wan. W-a-n. The second syllable is der. D-er. Use the er of her. Go ahead and write wander. Good. And help me to write it. The first syllable is wan. W-a-n. The second syllable is der. D-er. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the er. Now, once again, why did the O say That's right. O may say next to a W, T, H, M, N, or V. Here it's both next to both a W and an N. It's back to those scribes who didn't want too many up and down lines together, so they spelled the sound with an O. Let's read it. W-a-n-d-er, wonder. The next word is mountain. Let's go take a hike at the mountain. Go ahead and say mountain. How many syllables? 2. Do you hear the syllable that says mountain? Tin? That's the I sound. That's a schwa sound. So we will say to spell mountain. What will we say to spell? Mountain. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is mound. Ow. Use an ow, o, n. The second syllable is tain. T, a. Two-letter A that you may not use at the end of English words. Go ahead and write mountain. Sound it out as you write it. Great. And now help me to write it. The first syllable is mound. Ow, n. The second syllable is tain. T, a, n. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the ow and we'll underline the a. Now notice what happens if we take this off. What do we get? We get mount. And sometimes mountains are named, say, Mount Hood. They're named Mount. And then we have the suffix "ain" added to get mountain or mountain. Let's read it. M-ow-nt-a-n, mountain. And again, any vowel may say or I in an unstressed syllable. The last word is tremble. I tremble at the thought. Tremble. Go ahead and say tremble. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell tremble. What will we say to spell? Tremble. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is trem. T-er-e-m. The second syllable is bull. B-ul. Silent final E. You were right. Go ahead and write tremble. Good. And help me to write it. T-er-e-m. The second syllable is bull. B-ul. Silent final E. Why do we have a silent final E in tremble? You are right. Every vowel, every syllable must have a written vowel. Let's read it. T-er-e-m-b-ul. Tremble. Great work today.
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at foundations.logicofenglish.com.